Oh wow, that is definitely not the sharpest tool in the bunch.
Everyone gets to one point at one time or another where it becomes an awareness of the need to be more stable within present days. Just quick little hints and reminders that gain accomplishments and control over one's environment. If you're new to this channel, welcome to Smooth Men, where the sole priority of this channel is to help you run your life a little bit more smoother. Now, anyone's own preference is what's going to make them more stable within their lives. It's going to be different from next to another person, but it's all the basic same for having a sense of stability within one's life. And it's maintaining that stability as much as you possibly can, making it a complete staple within your own life. Just think of it as in general terms as in this way. We breathe to live. That's a complete engagement on a daily, constant, second basis at all times until you're gone. Anything you have to do, you have to get up and move your body around. You have to engage with the environment. And that is a constant, repetitive engagement. And with engagements that keeps one stable within their life, you gotta keep it fresh, you gotta keep it organized, and you have to go with it accordingly on how it is supposed to be gone to. And just repetitively keep that momentum. Be agile. Keep it going, keep the blood pumping, remain stable within the environment. So maintaining stability, there are certain things that help it be maintainable. They're just certain actions that are quite engaging, quite supportive in one's own self-confidence, self-development, constant drive, honestly. Like, it's just a battery charge to one's own self. When engaging with certain activities to remain stable, fresh, organized, ready to take on any present moment at any time. And one of the main inhibitors, especially for a guy that has been a staple to him since the dawn of time, is a man engaging in activities with the use of tools. Because when you perform certain actions with tools, then you pick up on practical skills and independence. It also helps one's own personal self with problem solving and coming up with their own tangible solutions, fostering that sense of accomplishment and control over one's own life. With fixing up stuff with your own tools, it's very cost efficient. You're going to save some cash. It also helps you tap into your expressions within your worldview, because one's creativity comes truly alive when engaging in acts with tools. And just the general comfort and peace of mind that is just felt when using tools, using it during a project, spending just a whole day and getting lost in your own creativity and creating something that is just so great and becomes a general staple within your life. As that sense of accomplishment rises within one's life, being acknowledged by one's own self on a daily basis from what he has created from the day prior. It will just bring such a soothing atmosphere, especially if you keep maintaining and remaining within that space. Keep engaging with that and keep building, keep using your tools. It's very, very zen. And not a lot might not even care about this, but I mean, it does keep you intact and in line with your heritage before you were even here. That, again, it's been since the dawn of time that men have been using tools to create the environment they see themselves needing to live with them. As in, you're just performing acts that were passed down from generations, so you may evolve those certain actions. You also experience a great whirlwind of self-sufficiency. You're completely sufficient within your own environment, know exactly what's going on, and if anything is out of whack, you know exactly what to do. And a very obvious thing that is felt and noticed by anything is the level of confidence and self-esteem. As in, if you keep going at it, keep learning, keep bleeding out your creativity within life through the use of tools for certain projects, helping people out, making your own environment stable around you for you to travel through. You get that aura of confidence around you and that knowing from your environment that you know what you're doing and you know exactly what to do to make it happen. So let's go over 10 basic tools that every man should own. Pipe wrench. Pipe wrenches are used to loosen or tighten pipes or pipe fittings. Every living environment uses some kind of a piping system, whether for your bathroom, your sink, your bathtub, whatever. And it acts as a good stable go-to, especially when one of those pipes kind of burst or need to be tightened down so something doesn't flood, or you need to get your watering system to flow more correctly within your own environment. Just keeping everything stable. Allen wrench set. Now, if you order anything that you need to build, like a cabinet or a table or a chair, more than likely you're going to receive a free Allen wrench set every time you comes with the packaging with all the parts that need to be assembled with it. And because most of the time, all you really need is an Allen wrench set to put stuff like that together. That's why a lot of times when I receive packaging with a lot of Allen wrench sets, I kind of just keep them in like a jar, or I organize them in some kind of a cabinet, just as a good go-to, because you never know, because a lot of stuff does take an Allen wrench type of screw to assemble it and disassemble it as well. A utility knife. A lot of people call these just box cutters or razor blades. But basically, it's all for any types of utility use that you need. It can cut through anything. You've had certain packaging that's just hard to get through that you need to open up to get to the parts so you can start building. Utility knives are a great way to quickly cut away through the packaging to get to what you need. They also act as great tools for cutting certain parts of materials that you need for building up certain aspects of, say, like your home, a shed, office space, whatever. It helps precisely cut through certain materials for certain measurements needed to build certain projects. Socket wrench. It may come out of once in a blue moon where you need to use a socket set to loosen a nut or a bolt with a socket that is sometimes maybe in a really deep space around a bunch of material that is hard to reach with your hands, basically. Great way to get at it and execute tightening or untightening is with a socket wrench. And I prefer socket wrench over a lot of other wrenches as well because of the proficiency and the organization of it as well, and it doesn't really scrape up the nuts and bolts that you're trying to loosen. To say you're gripping it with a hand and trying to strip it off with a adjustable wrench. You just stick the socket right on, you move the socket back and forth, and it cleanly untightens or tightens the foundation of certain projects, keeping all the material majority clean, unscraped, unstripped, so it can be reused over and over, time and time again, maybe forever. Pliers, needle nose pliers, channel locks, all great commodities of tools used for those smaller types of materials that need bending, folding over, picking up, tiny screws that need to be unscrewed, say to be picked at with a needle nose plier almost, or say trying to grip certain materials at a certain spot so you can get certain measurements and appropriately create what you are going for, or having them for the use of a nice grip within a bolt that one cannot unscrew or screw in properly. A set of open-end wrenches. With a set of open-end wrenches, they come in various amounts of different sizes for bolts and nuts. You have your wrench on one hand, and you have an open end on the other, which is basically a socket for that size of wrench. And again, it acts more of a more proficient and agile way to engage within activities for certain precise measurements without stripping your tooling, scuffing up your workplace, and keeping everything clean and pristine and executed properly. An adjustable crescent wrench. These are very handy within the world of working with tooling because an adjustable crescent wrench comes into play and a lot of times on a fast track. You see a stubborn bolt that needs to be loosened that is just very hard to get a grip on. You don't have the right size of tooling on you at that certain time to loosen it out of the spot you need to move on to the next part of a project. An adjustable crescent wrench comes into play right as you need it, adjusting the grips of the tool to the correct amount of size while you putting the amount of pressure needed through the wrench to loosen, tighten, whatever needs to be done right at that instant just to basically move on. It's quick, it's easy, and you get a nice forearm workout. A hammer. Hypothetically speaking, let's say you own a house, you have a beautiful backyard, and you want to enjoy it more. What's the best way to enjoy that? How about building a beautiful deck so you can sit on to enjoy your beautiful backyard? That's going to take a lot of hammer and nails. And a hammer's use works for a great amount of various different projects. A lot of different aspects of a said project that is being created by a man using tools involves a lot of times a hammer. Screwdrivers, Phillips or flatheads. Now a lot of screws used within building involve the use of tightening it or not tightening it with a screwdriver, a Phillips head or a flathead. Flathead is basically a slit that the flathead screwdriver goes into to tighten or not tighten. A Phillips head is usually a four-walled slit for a screwdriver to drive into to tighten or to loosen. And there's a lot of things in this world that is built in the use of using screws and screwdrivers to tighten and to not tighten. Got a cranky door, got something that's out of place that keeps moving in the direction that it's not supposed to. It's basically about to fall off the wall or something like that. More than likely it's using screws, and all you do is just basically throw your screwdriver at it to tighten it down, to keep it stable. And a tape measure. With a tape measure, it helps one take precise measurements when building something, when measuring certain spaces to put stuff in. All around, if you need to move something, or place something, or create something, a lot of times measurements are needed to be taken. And a tape measure is the go-to of it all to get those precise measurements so you can move more quickly into executing out certain project. Instead of walking around with your thumb up your ass and taking certain size of lengths of whatever and placing up against a wall or something and guessing a measurement, and then going to the store and buying something that's close to what you thought, but it's like maybe a couple inches more, and then just ends up kind of looking a little bit hokey when it could have just been figured out right on the spot with a simple measurement from a tape measure. It really helps keep that momentum of you knowing exactly what certain depths and levels can be performed at any given time because of the space given. And if I haven't made this more apparent to you, owning these simple sets of tools really helps you engage and feel that sense of fulfillment within your daily life. Because you can never have too many handymen within this world. As in, if you invest within these tools and learn how to use them precisely, cleanly, and execute out projects very pristinely, it's noticed. And you're gonna be used for it. I mean, hey, wouldn't you want brownie points if all of a sudden you know some kind of a random girl that likes to buy certain stuff but does not know how to use tools kind of properly, or is just like doesn't want to, and she knows you and she reaches out to you and just tells you like, hey, I have a bunch of stuff that needs to be built and I just don't really feel comfortable in my abilities of doing it because I'm not too familiar with it, and I know you have tools and you're familiar with tools. Why don't you come over tomorrow and help me build some stuff? Which also comes into play with you carrying your tools, and you just simply just gotta buy a tool chest. Keeps them all organized in there, and a lot of these tools are just dirt cheap. I mean, you go on Amazon, you go basically anywhere, there is just an abundance of tools at a very pristine price. And I mean, honestly, like, the price doesn't matter, the quality, tools do what they do. Most of the time, tools are going to be as strong of a use as you needed to be intended to, no matter the price of them. So hey, you make a nice visit to a nice chick's house and engage with building stuff for her and helping her out with your tools, and you leave one toolbox there, and oh, you have another one, you go visit a nice girl over there, and oh, you leave your tools over there because they need your help a lot more than the other, and all of a sudden you have 5 toolboxes at 5 different types of women's houses, and you just you become the handyman, and oh yeah, he left his tools over, he's really handy, and I always call him to come over and fix stuff for me, so he just ended up leaving his toolbox here. Nothing wrong with being a handyman. Keeps you fresh, keeps you organized, keeps you agile and engaging with life. Right on the spot. And guys, if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, comment below, or like the video. Thanks. Have a great day.